Whiskers yawned. He stretched his paws. Where was he? This wasn't home. The sun was bright. Strange sounds filled the air. A woman laughed. A dog barked. A car horn honked. Whiskers sniffed the air. New smells. He was in Russia. His humans were busy unpacking. Whiskers jumped out of his basket. He wanted to explore. The room was unfamiliar. But there was a window. He peered out. So many buildings. Whiskers felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. He had never been away from home before. This was an adventure. A big Russian adventure. He couldn't wait to explore all the new sights and smells. The first thing Whiskers noticed was the color. It was as if the entire city had been dipped in a painter's palette. Everywhere he looked, vibrant hues greeted his eyes. Buildings were painted bright yellow, pink, and blue. Each structure seemed to tell its own story through its colors, creating a mosaic of life and culture. Gold domes shimmered in the sunlight. They stood majestically against the clear blue sky, reflecting centuries of history and tradition. The air was cool and crisp. Birds chirped in a language he didn't understand. Their melodies added a serene soundtrack to the bustling city life. He followed his humans. They walked along cobblestone streets. The uneven stones beneath his paws felt ancient, as if they had witnessed countless stories unfold. He saw statues and fountains. People were everywhere. The square was alive with activity, each corner revealing a new scene of daily life. Some stopped to pet him. They said nice things in a language he didn't understand, but their smiles were universal. Whiskers felt a warm connection with these strangers. He saw a group of children playing with a ball. They laughed and shouted. Their joy was infectious, and Whiskers couldn't help but feel a sense of happiness. He watched them, his tail twitching with curiosity. The children's energy was boundless, and their games seemed endless. A little girl saw him and giggled. She pointed and said something in Russian. Maybe she wanted him to play? Her eyes sparkled with delight. The city was a whirlwind of activity. Horses pulled carriages. The clip-clop of their hooves added a rhythmic beat to the city's symphony. Street musicians played cheerful tunes. The aroma of fresh bread wafted from bakeries. The combination of music and scent created a feast for the senses. Whiskers felt a thrill of excitement. This was going to be an amazing adventure. Every corner of the city promised new discoveries and experiences. He ventured into narrow alleyways, peeking into small shops and cafes. Each alley held its own secrets waiting to be uncovered. Sitting on a windowsill, he watched the world go by. The city was a living, breathing entity, full of stories and adventures. He met other animals, like dogs and birds. Each encounter was a new chapter in his journey, adding to the rich tapestry of his adventure. Resting under a tree, he felt content. The city had welcomed him with open arms, and he knew this was just the beginning of his exploration. One day they went to a place called Red Square. It was huge. Whiskers had never seen so many people in one place. He stayed close to his humans. He didn't want to get lost. They saw a big, colorful building. It had onion-shaped domes. His human said it was St. Basil's Cathedral. Whiskers thought it looked like a giant, fantastical birthday cake. He saw a man selling nesting dolls. They were painted in bright colors. He batted at one with his paw. The man laughed. He let Whiskers' human buy it. Now Whiskers had a souvenir. The Red Square was a sensory overload, with its vibrant energy and historical echoes. He watched soldiers marching in formation, their synchronized movements captivating his attention. He felt a sense of awe at the history surrounding him. Whiskers wasn't the only cat in Russia. He met a sleek black cat with emerald eyes. She was a local. She showed him the best places to find scraps of food. He learned a few Russian meows from her. He met a fluffy dog with a curly tail. They sniffed each other cautiously at first. Then they played chase in a park. The dog was friendly, even if he did bark a lot. One day he even saw a bear. It was a big brown bear wearing a hat and dancing for tourists. Whiskers was scared at first, but the bear seemed friendly enough. He realized that even though people spoke different languages and animals made different sounds, everyone understood the language of friendship. A purr was a purr, no matter where you were in the world. One sunny afternoon, Whiskers, the curious cat, wandered off from his usual cozy spot by the window. He was always an adventurous soul, and today something particularly intriguing caught his eye. He followed a vibrant butterfly, its wings fluttering like delicate petals, into a bustling market filled with the hum of activity and the chatter of people. There were so many sights and smells. The market was alive with colors, sounds, and scents that Whiskers had never experienced before. It was a sensory overload, but in the most delightful way. He saw stalls piled high with colorful fruits and vegetables he'd never seen before. The vibrant reds, yellows, and greens were like a painter's palette, each hue more inviting than the last. He sniffed at a basket of smoked fish, the rich, savory aroma making his little nose twitch with curiosity. He had never smelled anything quite like it. A woman, busy with her stall, noticed him and shooed him away with a chuckle. She found his curiosity amusing but didn't want him getting into trouble. Whiskers tried to meow politely, hoping to communicate his fascination, but she didn't understand. His meows were lost in translation, just like he was in the market. He wished he could ask her what it was. The market was a maze of wonders, and he wanted to explore every corner, but he also felt a pang of longing for his familiar home. As he wandered deeper into the market, he got turned around and lost track of his humans. The once exciting market now seemed like a labyrinth, and he felt a twinge of panic. He meowed loudly, hoping his humans would hear him above the market noise. But the clamor of the market drowned out his cries. He was lost, and the realization made his heart race. He started to feel scared. The bustling market that once seemed so inviting now felt overwhelming and intimidating. He missed the comfort of his home and the familiar faces of his humans. Luckily, a kind vendor saw him. She noticed the fear in his eyes and the way he was frantically looking around. She knew he was lost and needed help. She gave him some milk and a gentle stroke, her touch calming his racing heart. The milk was warm and soothing, and it made him feel a little less alone. She spoke to him in soft, reassuring tones even though he couldn't understand her words. Her kindness transcended language, and he felt a sense of safety in her presence. She kept him safe until his worried humans found him. Their reunion was filled with relief and joy, and Whiskers purred contentedly, grateful for the kindness of strangers in a bustling market. Section 6. A Taste of Russia. Whiskers discovered that Russian food was quite tasty. He especially loved the smell of smoked fish. He managed to snag a few bites when his humans weren't looking. He tried borscht, a beetroot soup. It was a bit too sour for his liking, but he loved the dumplings filled with meat and potatoes. He even got to lick the cream off a blini, a thin pancake. He learned that mealtime was an important part of Russian culture. Families gathered together to eat, talk, and laugh. He enjoyed the warm, lively atmosphere of these gatherings. He discovered that food tasted better when it was shared with loved ones, even if those loved ones sometimes forgot to share the tastiest bits with him. Section 7 of Ballet and Stray Cats. One evening, his humans took him to the ballet. Whiskers had never seen anything like it. The dancers were so graceful and elegant, their movements seemed to flow like water. He watched, mesmerized, as they leaped and twirled across the stage. The music was beautiful and haunting. He even recognized a few notes from the street musicians he'd heard. Outside the theater, he met a group of stray cats. They were tough and streetwise. They told him stories of their adventures in the city. He learned that life wasn't always easy for a stray, but they had each other. He felt a pang of sympathy for them. He was lucky to have a loving home and humans who cared for him. He realized that not all cats were as fortunate. Section 8. Homeward Bound with Memories. Finally, it was time to go home. Whiskers was sad to leave Russia. He had so much fun exploring the city, meeting new friends, and experiencing a new culture. He snuggled into his basket for the long journey home. He dreamed of onion domes, colorful markets, and friendly cats. He knew he would never forget his Russian adventure. He had learned that the world was a big and wonderful place. He couldn't wait to see where his humans would take him next. Section 9. A Cat's Musings on Russia. Back in his own home, Whiskers often found himself thinking about Russia. It was a place that had left an indelible mark on his feline soul, a land of contrasts and curiosities that had captivated him in ways he never thought possible. He missed the bustling energy of the city, the scent of unfamiliar spices, and the warmth of the sun on his fur as he explored ancient cobblestone streets. The city was alive with a rhythm that was both chaotic and harmonious, a symphony of sounds and smells that had become a part of his daily life. He missed the friends he had made, the sleek black cat with knowing eyes, who had shown him the hidden corners of the city, places where the air was thick with history and mystery. The playful dog with the booming bark, whose laughter was infectious and whose energy was boundless. They had shared many a chase through the parks and streets, their playful antics drawing smiles from passers-by, even the gruff but kind market vendor who had saved him from a lost afternoon. This vendor, with his rough hands and gentle heart, had given Whiskers a place to rest and a morsel to eat, a small act of kindness that had meant the world to a weary traveler. He realized that Russia had left its paw prints on his heart. Each step he took on those cobblestone streets had been a step into a new adventure, a new story waiting to unfold. It had been an adventure filled with wonder, excitement, and a touch of fear, all of which had made his journey all the more memorable. The narrow alleys, the open squares, the towering buildings, each had its own tale to tell, and Whiskers had listened to them all with rapt attention. All blended together into a memory as bright and intricate as the patterns on a traditional Russian shawl. The colors and designs of the shawl were a perfect metaphor for his experiences, vibrant, complex, and deeply woven into the fabric of his being. He knew, with a deep purr of contentment, that his Russian adventure would always hold a special place in his heart, a chapter of his life that he would revisit time and again in his dreams. The memories of the people he met, the places he explored, and the experiences he had would stay with him forever. A reminder that the world was full of surprises, just waiting for a curious cat to discover them. Whiskers knew that his journey was far from over. There were still many places to see, many friends to make, and many adventures to be had. And with each new experience, he would carry a piece of Russia with him, a testament to the wonders of the world and the endless possibilities that lay ahead.